You don't need to announce everything you're doing. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. What you need is discipline. You want to be great. Then stop talking so much. Stop telling people your goals, your next move, your plan for the year. Nobody cares and they're not supposed to. You think speaking it out loud will bring it closer. No, you're wasting breath. You're burning time. Every second you're explaining what you're going to do is a second you're not doing it. Real strength, the kind that's unshakable, is built in silence. When you're grinding in the dark and nobody sees it, that's where you become dangerous. That's where you get sharp. That's where you separate yourself from the people who just talk a big game. Anyone can speak confidence. Anyone can craft the perfect Instagram caption about hustle and sacrifice. But you keep it quiet. You don't need to post it. You don't need a crowd. You need a routine, and you need to stick to it like your life depends on it. Because here's the truth. The people who constantly announce their next big move, they're convincing themselves. They're not doing it for clarity. They're doing it for comfort. They want the dopamine hit of someone saying, wow, that sounds amazing. You know what's more amazing? Results. Cold, hard results. And those are earned, not declared. Silence is a weapon. It keeps people guessing. It keeps the energy in. When you stay quiet, you stay focused. Your energy goes into building, not bragging. You get to work while everyone else is waiting for validation. That's the difference between you and the rest. You don't need motivation quotes or cheerleaders. You've got something better. Purposey. You've got fire in your gut that doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to burn. There's a kind of peace in the grind, a kind of meditation in the repetition. It's you versus you every single day, not you versus the algorithm, not you versus the people watching your stories. The game is internal. It always was. And if you can master that, if you can learn to shut up and show up day after day after day, you become unstoppable, unshakable. You want to earn respect. Don't demand it. Don't post about how people should value your work. Just get so damn good that they have no choice but to notice. And even then, keep quiet. Let them wonder how you did it. Let them stay confused. Your job isn't to explain your evolution. Your job is to keep evolving. Because silence builds pressure, and pressure creates diamonds. That's where your edge comes from. While they're out talking, oversharing, showing off, you're locking in, dialing in, narrowing your circle, sharpening your focus. You don't need to tell people you're coming. Just show up, stronger, smarter, more disciplined, and let them feel it. In the end, the ones who succeed at the highest level are rarely the loudest. They're the ones who kept their mouths shut, put their heads down, and did the work when nobody was watching. They let the silence mold them. They let the process transform them. That's the level you need to reach. That's the mindset that changes everything. Not, look at me, but watch what happens. You want to know what's holding most people back. It's not lack of talent. It's not time. It's not opportunity. It's that deep, quiet addiction to approval, that itch to be seen, to be noticed, to be validated. And the truth is, the moment you start chasing validation, you give away your power. You hand over the steering wheel of your life to people who don't even know where they're going. Discipline is what builds real success. Not motivation, not inspiration, not applause. Discipline. Doing the work when no one's clapping. Showing up when you don't feel like it. Sticking to the plan even when it's boring, even when it's lonely. You think the top performers in the world care about being liked. No, they care about getting better. They care about winning the internal battle every single day. Validation is a drug, and just like any drug, it gives you that little spike, that fake sense of fulfillment. You post your workout, you share your goals, you drop that quote, and boom, the likes roll in. But guess what? That rush fades. And then what? You're back to empty. Because none of that external approval fixes the real issue, your inconsistency, your excuses, your lack of ownership. Discipline doesn't care who's watching. It doesn't need an audience. It's about keeping promises to yourself. That's where real pride comes from, not from attention, from integrity, from looking in the mirror and knowing you're doing what you said you'd do, even when it sucks. Especially when it sucks. When you live for validation, you become a slave to other people's opinions. You let strangers dictate how you feel about yourself. That's weak. That's dangerous. You can't build something strong on a foundation that's flimsy. You need something internal, something rooted, something unshakable. That's what discipline gives you: stability, control, power. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you greatness. You've got to take it. You've got to earn it. And that happens when you stop needing people to believe in you and you start believing in yourself enough to do the damn work quietly, consistently, relentlessly. And let's be real, discipline isn't sexy. It's not fun. It's early mornings, missed parties, sore muscles, and saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It's sacrifice. And most people don't want that. They want the image of success, not the process. But that's the difference. You either live for attention or you live for results. You don't get both. The most dangerous people in any room aren't the ones shouting. They're the ones observing, calculating, working in silence while everyone else wastes time performing. That's who you need to be. The one who doesn't care who's watching, because you're too locked in to even notice. Discipline is quiet. Validation is loud. One builds, the other distracts. Choose wisely, because one path leads to real strength, and the other keeps you stuck in a loop of needing more and more approval to feel like you're enough. You want to feel proud of yourself. You want to sleep at night knowing you're actually becoming something. Then earn it. Shut out the noise. Get uncomfortable and let your discipline carve out the life you said you wanted without needing anyone else to cheer you on. You don't need a crowd. You need a reason. You don't need validation. You need vision. Keep showing up. Keep pushing forward and let the work speak louder than any words ever could. Most people lose before the game even starts. You know why? Because they're too busy watching others, comparing, measuring, scrolling, talking. They waste their energy keeping up appearances instead of building real power. But the truth is, the ones who win in this life, they outwork everyone quietly, brutally, and consistently with zero need for attention. Outworking everyone doesn't mean you yell about your grind. It means you live it. You don't post your workouts. You train. You don't brag about your business ideas. You build. You don't need people to know what you're doing because you know exactly why you're doing it. That's what separates the strong from the average, the work behind closed doors. The effort that no one sees, no one claps, for no one cares about except you. While they're partying, you're preparing. While they're debating motivation and hacks, you're lacing up your shoes and getting to work. While they're asleep, you're stacking reps, mentally, physically, spiritually. That's the grind. That's the mindset that turns average people into machines. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's hard. It's repetitive, but it works. You don't outwork people by shouting about it. You outwork them by becoming relentless, quietly, ruthlessly, day by day. You put in the hours. You stay sharp when no one's watching. You show up when you're tired, when you're sore, when you're bored, because that's where greatness lies, in the boring, brutal consistency that most people will never understand. Anyone can go hard for a day, a week, maybe even a month, but then they burn out because their motivation dies. It was fake from the start. It was based on hype. Yours isn't. Yours is based on purposes, on discipline, on knowing you're not where you want to be yet. And the only way to get there is through pain, patience, and persistence. And here's the thing, you won't always get credit. You won't always see instant results. Some days, it'll feel like you're doing all this work for nothing, but you keep going. You push through the doubt, the fatigue, the loneliness, because you know every drop of sweat, every rep, every quiet sacrifice is stacking up into something unbreakable. That's how real success is built, not with noise, but with work. You don't need a motivational video every morning. You need a mission. You need to remind yourself that the work you're putting in today is building a version of you that most people won't be able to compete with tomorrow. It's easy to talk. It's easy to share a story, get some likes, and pretend you're doing something. But when the lights are off and there's no one watching, that's the moment of truth. Do you still show up? Do you still push yourself when no one will ever know you did? Because that is what matters. That's what makes you dangerous. You become the kind of person who doesn't just outwork others. You outlast them. You build momentum while they lose focus. You build mastery while they chase attention. So stop looking for praise. Stop checking who's watching. They'll catch up later, or they won't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you become undeniable. Not through your words, not through your feed, but through the kind of work ethic that breaks people mentally. Quiet, consistent, relentless effort. That's the edge. That's the weapon. That's how you outwork everyone in silence. You ever notice how people throw the word self-care around like it's some trendy thing? Like it's bubble baths and cheat days and shutting the world out because you're protecting your peace. That's not self-care. That's distraction dressed up in comfort. Real self-care, real growth is brutal. It's uncomfortable. It's about making the hard choices, cutting out the noise, and locking in on what actually matters. And what matters most, your mission, your time, your energy, your focus. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. It's stepping back from all the bullshit, all the chaos, and deciding, I'm not wasting another second on things that don't serve my growth. You've got to get to a point where your goals are more important than opinions, where your discipline outweighs your distractions, where you don't care who's doing what because you're too busy building your own thing. You know what most people do? They try to juggle everything, trying to please friends, keep up with family expectations, stay relevant online, grind a little here, rest a little there, and they wonder why nothing's changing. They're half in everywhere and fully committed nowhere. That's not a life. That's a slow bleed. Focusing on yourself means drawing a hard line, saying no more than you say yes, not because you're rude, but because you respect your mission. If it doesn't add to your purpose, it's a distraction. If it drains your energy, it doesn't belong. If it slows your momentum, cut it loose. This is about clarity. This is about becoming ruthless with your time, your circle, and your attention. You've got to stop chasing people. Stop chasing validation. Stop giving so much of yourself away to things that don't build you up. You want a stronger body? Lock in. You want a sharper mind? Study, read. Cut the screen time. You want financial freedom? Create, save, invest. But stop lying to yourself like you can do all that and still say yes to every invitation, every distraction, every mindless dopamine hit that shows up. You can't. That's the truth. There's power in becoming unavailable, power in being hard to reach, power in being the person who's too focused to waste time on petty drama, group chats, or what some influencer said on a podcast. While everyone's busy trying to be seen, you disappear and as build. While they chase attention, you chase growth. And when you come back, you're sharper, stronger, different, and they'll feel it. Trust that. Focusing on yourself also means facing your flaws. You want growth, then get uncomfortable. Stare down your weaknesses and deal with them. No more hiding, no more pretending. You want real change. Then you've got to take full ownership. Your habits, your choices, your excuses. You can't evolve if you're still pointing fingers or waiting for the right time. The right time is when you stop bullshitting yourself and start making moves quietly, consistently, and with purpose. And don't expect applause. Don't expect people to understand. In fact, expect the opposite. Expect resistance. Expect people to call you distant, cold, selfish, good. That's the price of leveling up. People will misunderstand you when you stop playing small. Let them. You don't need them to get it. You just need to keep going. At the end of the day, no one's coming to remind you to chase your potential. No one's going to drag you across the finish line. That's on you. That's always been on you. So either keep living in distraction or lock in on your mission like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your peace, your future, your legacy, it all starts when you finally decide to stop spreading yourself thin and start focusing on what actually matters you. Most people have no patience. None. They want it all now. Results now. Money now. Muscles now. Success now. They don't want the process. They want the reward. And that's why they stay stuck. Because anything real takes time. Anything worth having takes work. And if you don't have the patience to grind through that uncomfortable, boring, thankless middle part, you'll never see what's possible on the other side. Everybody wants change, but nobody wants to wait for it. They hit the gym for 2 weeks and quit when they don't see abs. They start a project, and if it doesn't blow up overnight, they abandon it. They want every seed they plant to become a forest tomorrow. That's not how life works. Growth doesn't come in a straight line. It comes in waves, in setbacks, in long stretches of silence where you start wondering if the effort is even worth it. That's the test. That's where most people break, but not you. You've got to train yourself to live in that space, to keep showing up when nothing is happening, to keep pushing when the progress is invisible. That's what separates the people who make it from the people who tap out. Patience isn't passive. It's not about sitting around hoping life changes. It's aggressive. It's active. It's a grind. Patience is discipline stretched across time. It's the ability to delay the dopamine, delay the glory, and delay the comfort, all because your vision is locked in and you know what you're building is bigger than today's feelings. The real growth happens when no one is watching, when you're showing up every day, stacking effort on top of effort, not because someone's keeping score, but because you are. That's self-respect. That's ownership. That's when your confidence starts to shift from surface level to unshakable, not because of what you've achieved, but because of what you've endured. Patience sharpens you. It humbles you. It teaches you how to keep swinging the axe when the tree hasn't fallen yet. And the longer you stay in the game, the stronger you get. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, because the pain of patience teaches you control. It teaches you how to stop reacting and start strategizing. Most people operate on impulse. They chase highs. They panic when things slow down. You don't. You breathe. You adjust. You stay the course. You become dangerous when you're patient. Because now you're not rushing. You're not desperate. You're methodical. You're strategic. You're consistent. That's when you become lethal, when you realize that time is your ally, not your enemy. Everyone else is sprinting to nowhere. You're walking with purpose. And here's the hard truth. It's going to take longer than you think. It always does. Whatever you're building, your body, your brand, your skill, your life, it's going to take double the time, double the effort, and double the sacrifice you planned for. But that's the point. That's the purification process. That's what forges something real. Let the others quit. Let them chase shortcuts. Let them burn out looking for the fast track. You don't want fast. You want forever. You want something so solid that no one can take it from you. That's what patience builds. Foundations that don't crack under pressure. So embrace the silence. Embrace the slow grind. Embrace the days where nothing seems to be happening, because those are the days you're growing the most. That's where the champions are made. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not in the winning moment, but in the 1,000 quiet moments before it. Stay patient. Stay focused. And remember, the longer it takes, the more it will be worth it. You don't have to announce your wins. You don't have to explain your grind. You don't need to convince anyone of how hard you're working. That's what most people don't understand. Success doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need a stage. It doesn't beg for attention. It just shows up. When you truly want to change your life, you stop talking about it and you start living it quietly, relentlessly. You stop trying to prove yourself and start improving yourself. Because when the results start coming in, people will feel them, whether you say a word or not. And the best part, you don't need to say a damn thing. The change in how you move, how you think, how you carry yourself, that speaks louder than any post, any quote, any speech ever could. Most people want to be seen. They want their effort validated. They want credit for trying. But trying isn't the same as doing. Trying doesn't change your life. Doing does. And doing it day after day, even when no one's watching, even when no one claps for you, that's the work that builds something real. You want to win. Then shut your mouth and do the work. Let the others waste their breath trying to convince the world they're on the right path. You don't have time for that. You're too busy building. You're too focused on results. You know the scoreboard doesn't care about your intentions, only execution. So execute. When success comes, it doesn't come with a spotlight. It comes quietly, slowly, then suddenly. People won't even realize how far ahead you are until they try to catch up. And by then, it's too late. You'll already be gone. That's what silence gives you, a leverage, the element of surprise. No one sees you coming until you've already taken over. And the truth is, most of the people you think are watching you, they're not. They're too wrapped up in their own lives, their own problems, their own drama. So stop performing for them. Stop living for applause. It's empty. It doesn't last. Focus on becoming so good that even your haters can't ignore the progress. Even your doubters have to shut up when they see what you've done. That's the ultimate power, when your results do all the talking. When you walk into a room and your energy says everything you need to say. When people can feel that you've been through something, that you've trained, studied, struggled, bled for where you are, and they know they can't fake that. And here's the thing. It's not just about proving people wrong. That's a side effect. The real win is proving yourself right. Waking up and knowing you didn't fold. You didn't quit. You didn't talk your way into feeling good. You've earned it with sweat, with sacrifice, with silence. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop chasing recognition, a kind of clarity. You don't need to keep up. You don't need to show off. You're just locked in, focused, doing the work, letting the chips fall where they may, because you know in your gut that no one outworked you. No one stayed as consistent. No one went through the fire like you did and came out sharper. So don't rush to be seen. Don't rush to be heard. Stay patient. Stay silent. Let your success speak when the time is right. And when it does, it'll be louder than anything you could have said. Because it's real, it's earned, it's undeniable. That's the kind of win you don't need to explain. Let your results make the noise.